Bruno's open source tier costs $0 per seat. Postman's team plan is $19 per user per month, and Enterprise is $49, both billed annually. And the honest part? Bruno sells paid tiers too. It just never charges you to open the app or to add the second person. In March 2026, Postman retired its free, basic, professional, and enterprise plans and replaced them with free, solo, team, and enterprise. If you are on basic or professional, the plan you bought is now closed to new customers. And security is still a line item. An advanced security administration add-on and premium support for enterprise, plus a simple security add-on for team. Bruno keeps every collection as plain text files inside your own repository. Folders and text files on your own file system, sitting next to the code they belong to. If you can read a text file, you can read the whole collection. There is no cloud sync, no account, and no login. Nothing is uploaded, so the vendor has zero visibility into your requests and does not train models on your data. By the end of this, you have a free open-source client on your own machine, macOS, Windows, or Linux, with no account to create to download it. Your repository's collections run on that machine, and Bruno claims the whole setup takes under a minute. I ran it on a Mac and on a Linux box, imported a Postman collection I already had, and the slow part was finding the export file, not installing anything. What you have at the end is REST, GraphQL, and gRPC, request history, scripting, secret management, and code generation. No seat to buy, no workspace to be invited to, and no meter running while you think about it. From inside the repository, one command runs a single request: brew run request.brew. No seat is billed for that, and there is no cap on how many times you run it. Postman starts charging once a user goes past 25 local collection runs in a month. Postman's free and solo plans each include exactly one user. Team and Enterprise lift that to unlimited users, and they are sold per user per month with a discount for paying annually. So the second person who needs to open that collection is not a permission change. They are a line on the invoice. Your requests, your history, and your quota sit on machines in a building you have never been to. You do not administer them, and you never look at the meter, so you find out where the limit was on the day something stops. Postman meters API monitoring by the request, and the free plan gets 1,000 of them per team per month. Exhaust that allowance, and your monitors and scheduled collection runs stop running on their schedules. More capacity costs $20 for each block of 50,000 monitoring requests, and whatever you do not use expires at the end of the billing period. Unused calls and purchased blocks alike never roll over. You are renting capacity by the month and handing back whatever you did not burn. On a free account, hitting that monthly limit pauses your monitors automatically for the rest of the billing period. And every request a monitor makes counts separately in each region it runs in, so a second region doubles what it spends. The ceiling over all of it is 300 active and paused monitors per team. Access to the Postman API with a key is capped at 300 requests per minute. And that rate limit is applied per user, so it is a ceiling on how fast one person can work. And an account comes with only a limited number of free Postman API calls each month. 10,000 of them on the free plan. Single sign-on is an add-on, $6 per user per month, and it has to be enabled for every licensed user. Advanced Security Administration is $29 per user per month, and it is enterprise only. Neither can be bought on free or solo, and the $6 one does not include skim provisioning. Every Postman plan caps how many requests you may send through the cloud agent each month. Go past the monthly Postman API request allowance, and the response body comes back with "Service limit exhausted." That is not an error you wrote, and it is not one your API returned. In fairness, the 2026 plans did remove meters. Collection runs are unlimited on every Postman plan now. Mock servers and custom domains are no longer charged by consumption, and mock server usage is unlimited on every plan. The one meter that survived is the seat, and the seat is the meter Bruno does not have. On a Mac, the install is one line, a homebrew cask install of Bruno. The cask requires macOS 11 or later, and Homebrew describes what it hands you as an open-source IDE for exploring and testing APIs. There is no account to create and no sign-in screen waiting at the end of it. On Windows, it is Choco install Bruno. On Linux, Snap install Bruno. Or, on Debian and Ubuntu, an apt update, then an apt install of Bruno. Same client, same files, either way. Homebrew counts its installs, and at the time of recording, the Bruno cask had been pulled 5,415 times in 30 days, 16,900 times in 90 days, and 83,280 times in a year, on one package manager, on one operating system. The WebSocket support request, issue 316, is closed, and that one is closed because it's shipped. Another issue asked whether the open-source version had plans for gRPC, WebSocket, Socket.io, and MQTT, and it is closed as well. The streamed response request, issue 1884, is closed too, labeled Enhancement and Module Response. 3 requests, 3 closures, and only the first of them closed in your favor. So take closed at its word. There is no Socket.io, no MQTT, and no AI or MCP request type in the client. Point Bruno at an exported Postman collection, and it imports the collection and its environments directly. The requests and the folder structure come across with it, arranged the way you left them. Users report the existing scripts and environments are converted automatically as part of the same step. Bruno saves each request in its own file, instead of one collection carrying thousands of lines of JSON. The format is Open Collection YAML, human-readable and diff-friendly by design. So a changed header is a one-line diff, and a reviewer can read what happened without opening the app. And it integrates natively with any Git provider: GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, even SVN. Whatever already reviews your code now reviews your requests. Collaboration is Git. Branch, commit, push, open the pull request. The built-in Git interface covers cloning, diffs, pulling, committing, branch creation and checkout, remotes, stashing, and merge conflicts. For people who do not use Git daily, checking a collection in and out and submitting a pull request is a point-and-click flow. And there is no cloud sync to fall back on. Bruno is offline only, and its makers say they will never add one. That is a constraint and a commitment in the same sentence. Your version control is the only sync there is. Here is what that costs. The Git interface I just walked through belongs to the paid Golden Edition, not the free open-source core. There is an open issue asking for a single button that hides every Golden Edition feature, history, and Git included. SSO, skim, and bulk import are in that same bundle. Closed-source paid modules rather than parts of the core. Independent reviewers call the project open core rather than open source, and on this evidence, they have a point. The files are still yours, and Git still works from the terminal for nothing. What you pay for is the window onto it. The command line tool is one install, a global npm install of the Bruno CLI. Then, brew run executes the same collections headless, straight from the repository, for automated testing and pipelines. Same files, same environments, no window open. The same command runs on a machine nobody is sitting at, on every push, while the team is asleep. Nothing about it is hosted. It is an official GitHub action. Docker images and built-in HTML and JUnit reporters on whatever runner you already have. In Docker, it is one line, a Docker run that mounts the current directory into the image and runs the collection. The image comes from Docker Hub or the GitHub Container Registry, a Docker pull of the CLI image at its latest tag, which means the collections run in CI and locally with no Node.js and no NPM on the host at all. Every request leaves straight from your own machine, not through a vendor proxy server. And post-response variables are declarative. A simple expression updates them instead of a block of script code. Secret variables are masked and local environment files are read, though there is no central secret scanning or leak detection. Everything up to this point costs nothing. The client, the command line tool, the Docker images, the runs. This is where the free version stops. The open source tier works only with public Git providers. Private ones need Pro or Ultimate. If your Git provider is one you host yourself, that single line decides this before any feature comparison does. The free tier gives you 2 workspaces. Unlimited workspaces start at Pro. Audit logs, SSO, SCIM, and AI governance are not available on the open source tier at all. And Open API syncs down there are capped at $5 a month. Open source is $0. Pro is $6 per user per month, and Ultimate is $11, both billed annually. For a team that already lives in Git, the $0 column is the one to stay on. The files, the diffs, the runner, and the command line tool are all in it. There is no built-in mock server, so a dependent team either waits for the backend or maintains its own mock infrastructure. And none is on the roadmap. There is no scheduled monitoring either, which means validation stops at CI. Nothing checks your endpoints between pipeline runs unless you build the thing that checks them. And there is no performance or load testing mode, no virtual users, no metrics, no thresholds. There is also no browser client and no AI help for generating tests or diagnosing a failure. The mock server request is issue 3071 and it is still open. Its labels are enhancement, feature request, and long-term goal. Long-term goal is the honest reading of it, not refused and not scheduled. Sharing works through Git and only through Git. So QA, a product manager, a technical writer, or an outside partner needs repo access, or a developer to hand it over. Every one of those people is now waiting on somebody with a checkout. And there is no hosted documentation, no developer portal, and no SDK generation to point them at instead. That cost lands on your own QA and your own writers first, and on a public API with outside consumers, it is most of the job. So do this tonight. A homebrew cask install of Bruno, or the one line for whichever package manager you already use. Import one Postman collection you already have, commit it to a branch, and open the pull request. Then read what your reviewer says about that diff. No pricing page can tell you that part.